I wanted to do, a video just showing off kind of my basic process for unfolding models for foam. I see a lot of questions in forums or in Facebook groups just asking really, really basic models, asking for someone to unfold it for them. And, it is pretty simple. I'd say it's a lot easier, in my opinion, than paper, because honestly, I can't unfold for paper. So I figured I'd just do this so that maybe someone just kind of Googling this can see just how it would be done. So the most basic one that I could really think of is Ermac Mask from Mortal Kombat. I think it's Mortal Kombat 9. Really simple. And then if we just do a search here, let's see. Honestly, a lot of times you don't get, when you search for patterns, you don't get your first hit being a pattern. A lot of times I will go to images and I'll just look. Again, this one just happens to be the very first one, but usually you can go through, you'll get a lot of just random pictures, and then, hey, lo and behold, you'll see something that you can actually click on and then download. So this one, really easy. We'll just go to this, click on download, and then we have it right here. Now this one, I don't know if there are any foam unfolds of this one, so that makes it kind of nice to show this. And then at the same time, maybe I can provide a link in the description for what I actually unfold here today. So the first thing that you want to do, honestly, just go up here, show flaps. Because you don't need any of these flaps, when you're doing foam, just get rid of that. And then same with the actual numbers that you normally see here on the pieces. Really don't need those at all. That's not even going to transfer. And then the next thing I always like to do, I'm here in the US, so we always use letter. Really anywhere else you're going to use A4, I think. And then I switch this just because a printer can basically can't print all the way to the edge, but 5mm is usually pretty good. So, and then from here, you have really your whole working space. This again, look, such a small piece, and then there's so few parts. It doesn't bend a lot. There's a lot of straight edges and straight surfaces. So for this, yeah, let's jump into it. The first thing when actually looking to convert this is, when you're working with foam, the thickness of the foam already creates this edge that you would normally have to actually build in paper. And again, this model is so simple, and this unfold has already been done for us here. Because if you just look at this part, all except for maybe that, and then on the other side that, all of this, and I'm going to try and do this without using any shortcut keys, just because then you'll be able to see what I'm actually doing. So if you do the disjoin tool, and then go up here, just remove that. And then take these edges, and you'll see, well, let's move this over here. And then so you'll be able to see, since again all the work has been done for us, look at this, all of this is already going to be created by the foam, and so you don't need it. So you can just move it right off of the page. You're only going to be printing what's actually on the page. Move it off and the printer won't do it. Then the next step is really just going to be to look at your model and think how you want to break this up. Really, the best, before even unfolding the model for foam, I would recommend actually building some foam pieces just so you see how foam works and how forgiving it is, because with paper, you have a separate little piece for all of these that you really don't need when you're doing foam. The foam actually bends and squishes, and so if it's this piece is actually separated really well, almost like they wanted us to do it for foam. So let me just kind of merge that. The goal here is actually going to be just to try and really get any of these folds right here. In paper, again, this matters, but when you're doing foam, this small little bit of space, you really don't even need to worry about it. And normally this would actually be great. This piece would be really nice just to cut out of foam. I'm going to do a little bit different. I like to try and get rid of as much so that you're doing as little cutting out as possible. With paper, you're going to use these cutouts. You're actually going to use it in your build. When you're doing foam, this is basically just going to be a pattern that you're going to be tracing. And so whatever you have on this side, you actually don't have to print off this side. Since it's exactly the same, you really just flip it over and trace it onto the foam, and you have a mirror copy of it. So, you know, again, you don't need to do that one and that one. You just need to do one of them. For this, what I'm actually going to do here, because I like to have it separated out so that I can get rid of more on one side, then we're going to take our join and disjoin tool and really separate you know, the right side from the left side. And I'm just going to go ahead like this. And will that do it? Yeah. Do like that. So then you're basically going to have a piece over here that you can... Okay. So that's all together. That way, and look at this now. Okay, so you have basically everything on the left side. I usually like to do the left side. I see some people doing the right side. It doesn't matter, honestly. And then this piece, yeah, let's just keep that. And I'm going to move that over here because I don't want to, basically done messing with that. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same actually to this side. I'm just going to make it so that the middle piece is separate. Okay, so then we should have the middle piece by itself. Yeah. Okay, so that one, well, it looks kind of funky right now, but we'll clean that up here. And then let's go ahead and combine that. Let's combine this. Okay. Oh, and then since we did have these two pieces are the same on both sides, let's just get rid of that as well. We'll move that off of the page. And then, I mean, looking at that here. Oh, was this? Oh, okay. Looking at that here, we've already, you know, reduced it down quite a bit. We're basically have everything on one page now. But yeah, moving these off. Let's see, this and this. We can basically just move these. We don't need to mess with that. This pretty much looks good. Now, since actually looking at this, and the whole idea with foam is when you're unfolding is trying to make everything as combined as possible. You do less cuts. You don't have to work as hard if things are kind of joined together. So if that, and actually let's see, because that actually looks really good. Yeah, so, and you'll notice these little gaps right here, and this kind of overlaps a little bit right here. Honestly, with foam, you don't even really have to worry about that. Again, it's so forgiving, and yeah, this model is so, it's already so angular that this is actually going to make things really simple. And so then what we can do is, you know, join this together. One thing I like to do is when I have things looking really good, you know, these gaps right here, when these aren't too far apart, this one is a little more than I would like, but I'm going to see if we can get away with that, especially this. That's a little more than I'd like. So yeah, let's try this. So one thing that we do to get rid of this, when you're making the pattern for yourself, even if you kind of know what you're doing because you unfolded it yourself, but if you're making it for somebody else, they may look at this and be like, well, you know, especially if they're beginners, should I make that cut right there? Should I make cuts right here? What is that? And then even right here, even though, you know, pretty clearly in the model, this is a mountain undercut that you're going to do. It's not super clear by this line, this little baby line right here that's dotted. Rather than just deleting this, I know you can go up here into this set edge color. You can, you know, put on the eraser tool and you can go ahead and delete off, whatever you'd like. Let's undo that. Really, you can delete whatever you like, but for the sole purposes of just making this a little more clear right here, instead of doing that, we're actually going to go up to Settings, Other Settings, and then Advanced. And what I like to do is just set it for about 2 millimeters. What that does right here is it sets a threshold so that if any edges are close to each other, but not close enough to actually, on the 3D model, when it's unfolded, to actually meet, then it'll set the threshold so that it'll actually merge these together, so it'll just be a solid piece. So with that, it only activates when you actually do a join disjoin. So what I'm going to do is really do just that. I'm going to separate it, and then I'm just going to put it right back, and then it basically merges that together. So even this line over here looks like it was merged, so that's awesome. And then this whole line, so it basically, even though it has a break right here, someone can actually look at that and see, okay, I'm supposed to make an undercut all the way across. And actually, maybe we can even go in here if we click on this, and yeah. So if we up the threshold, it'll complete that threshold for the hiding edges. And you know what? Let's go back and get that, and we'll delete that as well. So yeah, that looks really nice. In fact, you know what? Because we're going to be cutting this out, because this is our pattern, and because we can actually, when we print it out, we can cut out the middle here of these two spaces. To be honest, we don't even end up needing like this piece. So if you look here, these two pieces, let's move that off the page here. Awesome. Nice. So basically what we'll do is when we cut this out, we'll cut out the middle of these two, these two spaces. We'll cut these out and then trace the insides. We'll trace the outside, and then we'll trace the inside. So we don't even actually need, these pieces from over here. We actually don't need those even on the piece of paper. And then let's actually bring this over. So after all that, basically you're only going to need to do 3 pieces, which is awesome. A few things are more satisfying in life than reducing the amount of pieces on a piece of paper. Let's see. So what I want to do then, this is perfect. This is perfect. This one is still pretty ugly, so we're going to do something about that. The threshold right now, because this will actually change how the model looks, or how the actual polygons look on the paper, I don't like to have it on until I'm ready to actually use it. So I'll put it back to where it was, 0.01. That way it won't really mess with the model at all. Now with this, let's go back to join, disjoin, and then see, that looks kind of funky. We may have to do these separate. The other thing, when getting rid of these lines, now you're not going to be able to get rid of everything, but it's much better to have small little, really close together lines than it is to have these further apart ones. So the best way to get rid of these is actually to do a cut on a short line and then have it join on the bigger one. So that way this is actually smaller. And then we'll do the same on this. Okay, perfect. So that isn't as noticeable, and then same with this. Let's break that, and then we'll join them together. Okay, so that actually merged together anyway. And then this does have, looks like a slight curve in it, but since it's supposed to be basically like a symmetrical piece and be straight, it's not really required. Again, foam is very forgiving. You'll probably hear me say that a million times. Let's go ahead and just do something like this. This will stagger the cuts. So even though it's not perfect, it looks a lot better. And then we have an issue with this. So I don't want it like that. We don't want to have to cut out this piece, and we don't want it to be janky like that. So I'm going to do a little cheat here. This wasn't possible in previous versions of Pepakura, but in this one we're actually good to do it. So what I'm going to do is use this, And the rotate, we can rotate it, but when it gets to, straight across horizontal, it'll snap. Perfect, like that. So that's straight across, and we'll do the same on this one. Perfect, okay. And then we can move that over, and then I'm just gonna match this up right like that, right? Boom, okay. So that is straight. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll go to the move and highlight both of these. And then what we'll do is go up here to the 2D menu and grouping. This is a great feature, group. So now it'll stay like that. Now it acts as basically one piece. And even though it's not one piece, we didn't join them together or anything like that, it basically just holds it in the position that we put it in. Now we can rotate it, really nice. So, okay, we have it vertical. Okay, so this is the same position. And then you know what? Just like we did with the dotted line over here and erased it, what we can do, just to make it so that it's easier to read, we'll go back over to the eraser, and then let's go over here, let's take that out, and then for these, we'll just, we'll go ahead and erase these. Nice, okay, nice. Okay, so that's actually it. So then what we have here is basically all fitted on one single, actually let's get this out of here. On one single sheet of paper we have 3 pieces now. 3 pieces that you're going to build. That'll take care of your whole mask. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and hit save, save as. And then right here we'll rename that, we'll say Ermac Foam Unfold. Alright, and save that. So that's it. I'm going to do more here in the future. I really hope you like that. If you want to see a specific model unfolded, put it in the comments. I'll do my best to accommodate that. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Please like it. It really helps me kind of determine if this is helpful for people. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more of these. Thank you.